If you are extraordinary, you can get a green card. Isn't that awesome? There's some major changes to the NIW and the EB-1 field. And here at the AILA conference, we just attended a panel with some of the best EB-1A and NIW experts sharing the key findings. Let's get to it. Hi, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Zana Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So the legal problem is, how do you prove one is extraordinary that deserves a green card from the US government? Well, there's two ways. There's the EB-2 NIW, which means you're an advanced professional, and normal people have to wait in line, have to advertise and make sure there's no US worker, but because of your contribution is so important that you can skip that line and directly apply because you qualify for a National Interest Waiver. So that's the EB-2 NIW. It could be self-petitioned, which means you don't need an employer. You can directly petition for yourself, and then based on your extraordinary ability and what you want to do, the US will give you a green card. The second one is even better. You qualify for the EB-1A. You are the extraordinary of the extraordinary. You're the cream of the crop, and the US will directly give you a green card as well, and it's much faster because you can pay for premium processing. So these are the two different ways, and there's some major news that happened this year. Let's start with the EB-2 NIW. The new memo by USCIS emphasized that if somebody graduated with a STEM major or have a STEM background, and that background is related to the work that they're doing, their professional development, and the work that they're planning to do in the US, that they will look upon that favorably. That is huge. The second thing is that they're much more favorably looking at entrepreneurs who are coming into the US and starting their company. And the third thing is that it's much easier to qualify for this National Interest Waiver. Before, you need to prove that your company, your business is going to create some tremendous economic or national important contribution to the US. You're going to hire a bunch of workers. It's going to stimulate the economy. Of course, you need to advance these type of arguments, which makes it quite difficult for a lot of people, especially for startups and people doing research. Because of the ambiguous nature of this, a lot of people shy away and don't choose to pursue it. But by the very nature of people who have advanced degrees, sometimes it takes a long time to do something that's risky and it might fail. So now the regulation provides that it's much easier to qualify for this National Interest Waiver, provided that you're just not going to compete with a US worker. That's a much lower standard, right? Comparing to, I'm going to stimulate the economy. I'm gonna do some tremendous thing that's gonna help the US as a whole. Now, I'm not gonna compete with anybody else. There's no US job market for what I'm about to do. Nobody's willing to take this risk, but I am, sign me up, give me a green card. That's the idea. Now, even if you qualify for that, some people might not choose it because EB-2 and NIW, you still have a priority date for many people around the world. And you don't want to wait years and years and years. You want to get it this year, you want to get it next year, you want to get it as fast as you can. So then you have to do the EB-1A. The EB-1A is for the truly extraordinary. There's 10 factors. This session, these panelists went through every single one, talking about how this applies to entrepreneurs. So if anybody's interested in learning, please download the full session from Agora. It's really good. From somebody who does a lot of these cases, they are definitely good experts. So for the purpose of this video, instead of talking about strategy and how to, I'm just going to show you some examples of how it is done. Traditionally, most firms do EB-1A for things like doctors, professors, PhD students, people of the highest educational tier, and then prove that their citations are tremendous and that they're coming to the US to do some tremendous work, and so they get EB-1A. Our firm, on the other hand, for the past 15 years, focus on business and entrepreneurs. This new memo about EB-1A and how it encourages entrepreneurs is great news for the entrepreneur community, for people who are executives, because a lot of people, they build this crazy big company. They could do EB-1C, but they don't want to go through the laborious process of hiring a whole bunch of personnel. They themselves are quite extraordinary. We just got a case approved for a previous executive that worked at L'Oreal and L'Occitane. This person worked at the marketing department and helped create some of the new products that came about. They didn't have any awards, they weren't part of any memberships, they didn't have any authorships, but because we proved that it was an original contribution, they have a high salary, and they were really important, and we got some of the other high-end executives to write them letter recs. The case got approved. Another example is another executive that is from a company that went bankrupt. Dang it. But before the company went bankrupt, it's actually quite a nice and big company, and he won an award for being a good manager at that company. Once you win one award, you actually qualify to be a part of an association that gets recognized for being a good manager. So there's a magazine publication about this executive. And then because he won this award, he gets to judge future executives and managers who are trying to win this particular award. So because he won one award, he's part of one magazine, and then he's a judge of other managers and executives. Now he qualified for 3 out of the 10 requirements, and then his case got approved. And the third example is the founder of a cleaning product company. He created this cleaning product 20, 30 years ago. It was tremendously successful, but then he kind of scaled down afterwards. He won a lot of awards back then, but how do you prove he is extraordinary? Well, we showed that the patent that he created is actually used by Western companies, including in the US. He doesn't have any products in the US, but because the US companies are using his patent, he has a high salary and it's a recognized brand, we proved that he qualified for EB-1A. And so you see, to do an EB-1A or an NIW case for entrepreneurs, you really have to understand the business side. So you need a business team to help you write the business plan, to understand what your achievements. It's not just talking about how great your citations are. For anybody who's considering and starting a company in the US and they are quite extraordinary, you have an advanced degree, you really should consider the NIW route and the EB-1A route to get your green card. Because of these memos, it's much clearer on what it's required for entrepreneurs to get a green card through the EB-1A and NIW program. If you're interested, we have these other videos talking about how a crypto executive got a green card. This is one of my favorite case categories. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you more about it. Take care. Bye-bye.